through your loved ones. Once you start there, and then once you're able to have that influence,
It doesn't matter how much they pay you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, guys. Thanks for hanging in there today. We have three amazing women that I have worked with before. Come on out, Michelle, Caitlin, and Seda. Give them a warm welcome, you guys. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you guys for coming today. So we are talking today about growing your Instagram and your influence. I'm Kendra Zager. I've worked for social media for Playboy, MTV, Facebook Watch, and I also worked at a digital startup called Arsenic. And that's where I had the pleasure of meeting and working with these three amazing women. So without further ado, I'm going to have you guys introduce yourselves, tell us what you're working on, and then the biggest driver of growth of your Instagram or business's Instagram.
Hi guys, I'm Michelle Zuzu. I am the social media strategist over at Arsenic. For those who don't know, Arsenic is an aspirational media company, and that touches with a lot of creatives such as models, photographers, influencers, musicians, and so on. For us, the biggest driver of growth is really the audience that we were able to create. We have this really organic and like kind of raw vibe, and so if you rock with us, like there's a good chance that we're noticing you and like engaging back, and creating real relationships have been like the foundation of how we're able to do anything, including these women.
Hello, I'm Caitlin. I used to work for Arsenic as well, I still do, and I'm a TV host for Maxim, The Chive, and I'm an actress. The biggest growth I've seen is doing share for shares with other models on Instagram. That has helped me out immensely, and everything that I did with Arsenic and Maxim, just constantly posting once or twice a day, hashtags, clear photos.
Hi guys, my name is Seda Word. So I do modeling, acting, and then I create viral content, screenwrite it, script write it, and then go on set and direct it, and edit if I need to edit, but I generally try to stay away from that because it takes a really long time. I would say the biggest growth factor for me in my socials would be the viral content. So I think of really, really random creative stuff that I know would do well, and I generally gear it towards the comedic aspect because I like being goofy and funny. When The Floor is Lava was trending and doing really well, I created something called Hot Potato Challenge. And I was like, this is funny. I'm going to chuck some random stuff at my guy friend Danny and say hot potato every time and have it flop every time. We hit maybe 40 to 50 million in our first week. And from there, I just continue doing that. So I'll find a bunch of good influencers. I'll think of good content. We'll film it. We'll do skits. And then if I can think of like what's trending, I generally try to stay on like that wavelength and push out as much content as possible.
Awesome, thank you guys. So Michelle touched on the audience. The audience is so important. Who you cultivate as your tribe or your community. So what are the best ways that you've found to create this engaged audience? Someone who will click when you say click, watch when you put up a video, attend an event, or buy something that you're wearing. How do you create that audience?
To create the audience that's highly engaged, it makes the most sense to understand really what your brand is and who you are, what you're selling, and more or less what you're selling, who you are, and like the dream. For Arsenic, it's this lifestyle of being carefree and traveling around the world and being around beautiful people and doing exclusive things that the general public does not have access to. And because of that, we're able to bring people into the experiences that typically wouldn't have those chances. And so we're able to fly people out and come join us backstage with Drama at ACL in Austin and go on a trip with us. And we're able to really sell this fact that your dreams can be realities. So able to understand that and like marketing that towards people and engaging back with them is really the biggest thing. And now this isn't pretty, it's not exciting, nobody really wants to hear it, but what it really comes down to is creating personal relationships with the people that are asking to engage with you. You know, you see your active followers, you see the people that are always commenting on your stuff, always replying back, and really getting in there and dirty and like sitting there every day and going back through every comment and liking and commenting back and following them back and asking them about their lives. There's definitely been a number of followers over the years that I've come to know and grown personal relationships, even though they've never been more than what's online. And those are the people that are rooting for me and caring for me and Arsenic and wants to come to our thing, even if they know that the chances of them coming is still slim, just because if they get it, why not?
I love that. I definitely agree. Building my audience, I think posting things that brought me joy and bring me joy actually, brings other people to the table, and they see that. They can see through your posts. If you're posting something that you don't really like, people can see through that. So just relying on content that brings you happiness.
Yeah, so I agree with both of them. I think it's super important to engage. What I do like through and through is I make sure to respond to every single last comment, no matter what. Like I will engage with them. I try to go live on Instagram once a week. And when I go live, I try and bring people into the live feed, and they will talk to me about their daily problems, their crushes, what advice they want, fitness advice, weight, etc. No matter what it is, I will make sure to stay on the stream as long as possible with each person, give them my full time and attention. And I've seen that really, really helps. I have people who have been following my life for 5 years. If I tell them, hey, I'm on this platform now, they will follow me to that platform and push me and motivate me. If I tell them, hey guys, someone's being rude to me on my Instagram, go Team Say on them. They will go and be like, Seda is an amazing woman. We don't like this type of content. Please get off her feed. Like in the nicest way possible. So I think really, really building your team, making sure they know you give a damn about them and you care about them and you generally want to include them in your life and your growth is really important.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. When I did work at Arsenic with Michelle, we would have somebody in the DMs every single minute of every single day. So if there was a model doing a shoot, those models would be on the DMs after the shoot, responding to every single person. We had a team that was responding to, the comments. Everybody who worked at Arsenic was in the comments responding to people. So it really was, you had that sense of community that people were there. So I like that you guys said that. And what are people, I kind of want to follow up on this because it's so important. Like, what are people reaching out to you to talk about? Like, how do they want to be heard? Like, what are they asking you?
I think really understanding that no matter whether you have 1 follower or 1 million followers, is that each one of those followers are a person. They have a life that goes beyond what's online, and they have real life problems and struggles and hopes and dreams and aspirations that are very similar probably to yourself. So coming kind of back to the basics and realizing that we all come down to basic needs and what's the value you can bring into their life, whether it's believing in something, whether it's friendship, whether it's this idea of more. And a lot of times for me, my personal followers are looking for that friendship to feel like, oh, I'm heard and there's somebody that cares about me. For me, it was one of the things that really drew me the most to Arsenic. I'm originally from New York, and I was going to school when I had first met Arsenic, and I ended up dropping out of school because they gave me this idea that I was a person in the middle of nowhere and I was a nobody, but my opinions and thoughts mattered. And I thought that was such an instrumental thing that everybody needs to know. And because of that, I ended up dedicating my life to that and trying to bring value into other people's lives.
That's awesome.
I think captions are important too. I always ask a question in my captions, and I make it kind of easy because I have followers from other countries who may not understand me. But thankfully, I think, where are you from is my most popular question. I'll get hundreds of people answering, and then I can see where my followers are actually from, and then I can ask them questions based on that. And I answer every single person who responds, and it's grown my account a lot.
I think people generally come to me for advice for a wide array of things. So I'll get the, how do you become an influencer? How do you make content? How do I do acting? How do I move to LA? But then I get a wide variety of questions where it's like, I'm struggling with weight loss, what do I do? I have a bully in school, what do I do? And then there's a few who are dealing with like depression and suicide that have been followers for years, and I make sure to give them my like absolute attention every time I can. And there's like, people say there's always a boundary or barrier you should keep with like how personal you get with your followers. I love my followers to death. If someone needs me at like 2 a.m. and they like message me or they comment and they're like, I'm not feeling good, something happened, I'll be like, okay, what happened? Let's talk about it. Are you okay? Do you need advice? And I think that's honestly why I've been so successful in life, because like I genuinely care and I want to know how these people are growing just like they want to care about my growth and my success in my life. So I keep tabs on them like they keep tabs on me, and I make myself available whenever someone needs me for whatever advice they need.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's how you're creating the OG fans that are going to stay with you for years and years, is that you care. So we talked about audience. I want to cover brands now. You guys have, between all of you guys, have worked with amazing people, multi-million, follower influencers, the biggest brands in fashion, some of the biggest rappers and musicians in the industry. How do you find these people? How do you work with them? So, you have the audience, you have the growth. How are you seeking out these companies and these partnerships? How does that go down?
I think understanding how to collab with people really comes down to yourself and understand what you're bringing to the table. Who am I? What am I selling? How can I package this in a way that people can immediately look at you, whether it's your portfolio or your Instagram or your email footer or whatever it is realizing like, okay, I'm this person, I'm this brand, this is what I'm selling, this is what I can do to bring value into your life. And for people to immediately realize that and be like, okay, that's something that I can get behind. That's somebody that can enhance my life, enhance my content, enhance my audience, whatever it is, and really hitting that in a nice little bow.
I never really knew what my brand was. I still don't. I post things that I like in my life and what I'm doing, and I guess I've grown a brand out of that.
Quiet on set? No, I'm just kidding.
So yeah, developing a brand is difficult if you don't exactly know what you want to do with your life. I still don't. I'm going to be 30 in a few weeks, but TV hosting kind of fell into my lap through Arsenic, and then Maxim hired me, and basically I found companies who wanted to sponsor my posts through DMs, just DMing big companies hoping to get a response.
And what are you saying when you DM? Is it just like, hey, I want to work with you, or is it a thoughtful message, or what are you sending them?
If it's a company I really want to work with, I will prepare like a thoughtful message or a DM, but most of it is would love to post for you. Seeing if I get a response back, and if I do, then I can sort of cater my answers to that company.
For me, it depends on what I'm doing. So if I want to collab with influencers, I will generally think of how I can add value to their life. So I will have concepts and ideas on deck ready to go. I will write out scripts like ready to go. I will hit up who I think would work for it, and like networking is such a huge deal. You go to an influencer party, make sure to work the room, make sure you are networking, make sure you get their contact info and tell them, hey, I have this concept I want you to film with me for. Run it by them, see if they like it. Great, film it. If they don't, find someone else and film it, and never stop. As far as finding like clothing brands, modeling brands, brand deals, for me, I do something very similar where I will just DM them and say, let's collab, smiley face, and generally see if that works. Or I have a fake management account, management email, and I will email them out my statistics and be like, hey, Seda Word really wants to work with you. These are her stats. Let us know if you're interested, and then I'll go from there. Because if you don't have anyone that will like dedicate that much time into yourself, why not do it? I have 10 managers and agents, but I know I'm going to push for myself more than anyone else. So I do it. Every single day I'll reach out to influencers and companies and brands and make sure I build. I'm also really blessed that I control the social media for 6 companies that I've helped build past 6 million, 5 million, 4 million. And what I do is when I have a job opportunity in that field, I will book my own influencers, get them paid work, get them tagged, get them exposure, adding value to their life, and then in return, they will ask me to be on their set. So it's all like give and take, and you just have to keep at it, and you'll start to see yourself grow.
That's perfect. So it goes down in the DMs. I have also used some of the, there's influencer accounts where you can connect with brands. So I've used Aspire IQ or Socialix, which are websites where you can connect with brands and it's kind of all automated and you can sign contracts through that. So I've done that.
That's amazing. I used Brand Snob. They were great. What other ones are there? Popular Pays, Pop Pays app.
There's an app called Tribe that I've used before. And then a lot of, just as you guys have said, DMs. A lot of brands, it's almost like the new email.
Yeah.
So let's go on to content. So content is king on social media. You know, it makes a big difference what kind of content you put out, how you edit it, how you, the caption you put out, the filters. How do you create the most successful content?
Creating the most successful content for me has really been this carefree spirit and selling into that. A lot of girls want to have fun, a lot of beach content, a lot of blues, realizing that colors affect people's moods and how when they view your content, they get a certain feeling. And so what are those feelings that you're trying to invoke on somebody? Is it this fact that you wish you were traveling, or you were doing this, or you could be as happy, or whatever that is, and kind of sticking to this mood board that you've set out for yourself. And that could be other people's content, that could be content you've made for yourself, and then really sticking to that. So when people come to your page, they know exactly what they're signing up for, and it's consistent all the way through. Obviously, everybody grows and expands and evolves over time, and if you have an audience that's really down for you, they're down for your growth as well.
I think I agree. For my growth and my content, it's been a lot of hashtags. It's been really clear photos. Don't post blurry photos unless you know your audience likes that. I don't know, but when I see a blurry photo in my feed, I don't necessarily want to like it. I like to see clear photos. The longer photos instead of square works really well for people trying to grow. Looking towards camera, if you're a model, don't look down, look into camera, because people will connect with you on your photo. And yeah, hashtags have worked for me, and share for shares.
So for me, I focus more on, let's say I'm going to do a comedy skit. For me, clickbait is really important, so I will make sure the image that they see is going to be amazing no matter what, even if that means I have to physically take a photo and make it like 0.1 seconds of the video, so that I have like a really high quality clickbait photo. Usually like shock value, where I'm like, something happened. So you know you're going to want to click it and be like, what just happened to this female?
I agree, I always click it. I have to.
Thank you. Thank you. Hashtags are also really important. There was a study that came out that said brands that even use one hashtag have a 12.6% better engagement rate. So I use hashtags always. Caption is good. I always ask a question in the caption to make sure my audience engages. And then the same thing, if I have someone come to my page, I want to make sure they know what they're getting, like Michelle said. So I'll alternate. I'll do like really funny comedy skit, a really smiling commercial AF picture if like Disney wants to sign me, and then I'll have one really like subtle sexy girl next door photo for like modeling and high brands, and then just keep alternating with that and building myself.
That's perfect. So take notes. I've found that highly saturated photos for me work best because they stop the scroll. And I agree with Caitlin. Like the longer photos take up as much surface area as humanly possible on any platform. Hashtags, I agree, are super important. I actually think we should stay on hashtags really quick. Are there any hashtags or strategies that you're using? So for instance, when I want to work with a bikini company, I'll post a bikini photo and I'll hashtag 15 bikini lover, bikini addict, bikini fashion, every single bikini, and then I will receive about 3 DMs from companies who want to work with me. So do you guys have any strategies? Are you using certain hashtags?
Mine's not exactly particular to hashtags, but what I would say is we're kind of in this world of smoke and mirrors and fake it till you make it. So if there is something that you want to do, but you're not currently sponsored or currently doing it in the way that you would like to, I would say do it as much as you can to the extent that you can and start packaging you in that way. People aren't exactly imaginative on their own, so telling them and showing them that you can be their brand, you can be whatever they're looking for is really instrumental into helping them visualize you and what you want.
That's
yeah,
the truth.
dress for the job, I guess, on your Instagram page. What was the question? Hashtags.
Hashtags.
Mid-range hashtags. Don't hashtag something like just bikini because it's going to, not going to be seen. So mid-range popularity is good. For Coachella, I was looking up every Coachella hashtag I could and having my dog's Instagram go comment on my picture and with every hashtag that I could just to be seen.
I always hashtag say the word first and foremost, so if anyone goes looking for me, they find a clear-cut me. I do the typical ones that may or may not work anymore, like for like, likes for like, viral, comedy, funny, meme, model, etc. And then I will also pay attention to what hashtags are trending at the moment. So there was a period of time when unicorns were trending. So now I'm team unicorn, and I started releasing unicorn videos where people will like stroke my unicorn horn and do hashtag unicorn or hashtag team unicorn. So stay on top of like what's trending, use that in your hashtags, but have like your main go-tos, like what your brand is. So if I'm doing comedy, I'll do the viral, funny, meme, comedic, hashtag influencers, hashtag say the word, and then it'll drive traffic to my page.
Perfect. And there are also, if their brands are looking for influencers, they can sort. There's a whole bunch of sites where they can sort by 150 to 1 million fan follower accounts that hashtag travel wanderlust. So just keep in mind that if you want to be found, just, make yourself available to be found. So I want to open it up. Does anyone have any questions that we can answer before we dive into my last question? All right, we're good. So I want to talk about stories. So stories are extremely popular. What are your strategies regarding your story posting, and how can you get more views, increase engagement?
Stories are really interesting because it's the first time that you're able to start seeing what's behind the photo and taking a peek into people's lives. For me, the content that does the best is what's personable. It's really how we grew Arsenic, the fact that it was behind the scenes of photo shoots and behind the scenes in the studio with Diplo or Jeremiah or whatever it was, and really getting to know people's lives in a personal way that you normally wouldn't. Especially since it's first person, you're holding the camera, it's in front of your face. It's a very intimate experience, similar to what you guys were saying about eye contact. That's very important. No sunglasses in your selfies. And really kind of engaging there. They added new stickers in which you can reply back to the DMs and in a different way and ask them to engage on your posts. I start off my day usually with posting a photo on my Instagram, and then that goes into my first story post of the day. So that immediately drives traffic there, and it's an image of me in which I look more polished than most of the time. And then behind that goes on to my day and what's going on into my life. People are big fans of pets, so if you got those, I definitely recommend putting some of those on your story as well.
Yes, your pets. What was that? The first slide of your story is you.
Yeah.
A good picture of you. That's a really important thing. I get way more views when I put my first story slide is of myself or me with my dog or me doing something funny, and then going into my day. Instagram stories, it's difficult to monitor and really figure out what will make your Instagram story grow. Some days I'll get 10,000 views. Some days I'll get 20. Some days I'll get 2. Like, what happened? I think time of day is really important. Starting your story in the morning and then going all day so people have a chance to see your story during the day.
I will always shout out the artists because I absolutely love music to death, and that's amazing because a lot of the time these artists will repost me on their story, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm spreading their amazing music, and they're also reposting me. So take people through your lives, be cute, be funny, and then if you're ever on set, I almost make some of my stories comedic. If there's a plot happening, people will want to keep watching and clicking the next story to see, okay, what happens next. So keep people engaged, but, don't put on so much of a facade. You have no makeup on, it's fine. Go on your story. You're exhausted, go on your story. You just want to share a song.
I'm not going on with no makeup. I'm not doing it. Never.
I'm my eyebrows, over here. I'm still going to go on my story. Be like, look, this happened to my eyebrow today. Just be like a little sister friend to everybody and make them comfortable with you in your life.
What I would say about stories and influencers in general is that we're really in control for the first time. previously, before social media, the way that you would get to know a celebrity or somebody you would admire would be through the paparazzi, through the magazines, through the tabloids, and you weren't really able to control the narrative. Now we are, and not only are we able to create our own narrative, we're allowed to create our own audience that we see fit for ourselves. So never to forget that you're really in control, and you're the one that masters the beast. And don't let, like, oh, somebody said something not nice to you, or you feel like you're not putting out enough. Like, those may be true, but you're really in control of how you handle everything. And so keeping on that, and it's a big beast to deal with. It can be a full-time job, as it is for these ladies and myself. And so just like realizing like you got this, figuring out your schedule, getting your audience on a schedule so they know what to expect, and really holding it down for yourselves and them too.
And as you grow, you're going to get cyberbullying. It's going to happen. I block as many people as I can. I probably block 10 people a day. If I look into how many people I've blocked, it's thousands, but that makes me happier, and it makes me spend more time on the app. So I think, some girls will say those are still comments, even the mean comments are cool, and not for me. It's not cool. I don't want to read those, so I just immediately block the person.
Yeah, so I've been very blessed to have like very little interaction with bullies on my socials. There was a point though where I filmed for World Star and I said something not so nice about people saying like rude comments, because I hate that 100%. And then I checked my DMs, and then I had some of those bully comments. And I generally try not to pay mind to it, but what I do is the same as Caitlin. I will block people. Like, I don't care about my following number if it's not a good person. Like, if someone's gonna be rude and they're following me, I don't care. I'm gonna block you. But I will give people a warning. I'm very sassy with that. I will comment back anytime anyone's like, that wasn't funny. I'm like, well, good thing you don't have the option. Like, good thing you have the option to not watch it. God bless, have a great day, get off my page. And then I'll leave it at that, and my followers will slowly start to see that you kind of kill them with kindness, and the haters will fade away, and if they don't, you block them. And a lot of the times when my followers see comments like that before I do, they like go full force, and then everyone's like, oh, maybe we don't mess with this girl. Maybe we go on someone else's account. I'm like, all right, good, do the dirty work for me, thanks.
I like that you're in there interacting with the haters,
Yeah.
because I think when I have managed talent, I tell them don't feed the trolls. But then there's also the idea that if you're in the comments, it's almost like Big Brother. So people know you're a real person, you have feelings, you exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people
And-
can't believe that you even said anything
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, on that, I've definitely had my fair share, but you're definitely train your audience, and that means like you set the tone and the example of what's accepted on your page and how you handle those. I've certainly had people say negative things to me, and that never feels personally good, but realizing that that is a human on the other side, I've gone from sassy and saying things that maybe aren't the best to going like, hey, I noticed you're on my page a lot, and this is the first time you've ever said anything mean to me. Like, are you okay? Like, what's going on with you? And then they're like, oh, I never thought you would reply to me or see this. I'm like, you put it on the internet. Like, everybody can see it. But that being said, like, just kind of touching, but everybody is free to handle it however you see fit. And just making sure that, like, you're continuing on that positive vibe because it's great for everybody.
Yeah, and then those people would become your OG fans.
Yeah.
So then, to wrap it up, we have a question. All right.
As influencers, how have you diversified your revenue streams besides brand deals?
Great question.
So his question was, how do you monetize outside of brand deals? For influencers, that I would say that's probably our main way of creating our revenue. Is through brand deals, but also because of getting awareness and your sizable following, a lot of us end up working offline and getting booked for things like these, or walking down runways, or hosting for Maxim, and really putting out your talent or whatever you're planning on like doing for yourself on your Instagram, because that really becomes your portfolio. That's your card now. So when you step into something that you want to do, or you want somebody else to recommend you for, you want to make sure that that content's there so that it's an easy, like, oh, I can see them doing that. That makes sense.
And I think as I have left the corporate world, I've had to diversify my portfolio quite a bit. So the options could be like a membership site. So there's stuff like Patreon if you want to put a podcast behind a paywall. You could sell a product. You could sell a service. So if you're a photographer on Instagram, you could sell, headshots. If you're a cook, you could sell a cookbook. Products, services. Oh, and then our talents. So booking acting jobs and hosting jobs and what else are you guys?
I put some of my brand deal money into producing feature films because I was an actress to begin with, and I was an actress before Instagram. So I've done 3 so far, and I've put influencers in my films, so they have an opportunity to make money too.
Yeah, so brand deals are amazing, but I have like a million side hustles, and I think it's important too. If you're a model or an actor coming into LA, a lot of people say like, oh, be a waitress. I went the route of being a brand ambassador or doing promo work. So there'll be like a million trade shows happening always in any field you can think of, like tech, beauty, health, fitness, etc. And I'll go on for 3 days in a row, be a brand ambassador, network with everyone in every single field so that I can add value. If someone's like, hey, I need a job in tech, I'm like, I know 20 CEOs in tech, let me connect you and help you. I also have been very blessed with me doing my social media and creating the content that I create, kind of spread word of mouth that like, hey, Seda knows how to create viral content. And I had massive, amazing companies reach out to me that I've been with for years, and I'm their ghostwriter. So I'll write, I'll go on set, I'll direct, I'll produce, I edit, and that's a good way for me to make money when I'm not doing brand deals, but it's still on the path of what I'm doing, and it's still helping me network with a million people and a million CEOs while building other brands up. It helps me build up my finances and build up myself.
Or making a product. If you do art, selling your art to your followers. My boyfriend does art, so I sell his art instead because I can't do it. But.
One thing I would say before we wrap is that networking is a vital piece of anything that you do, online or offline, and in any field. We're all powerful within ourselves, but we are so much more when we're together. So able to connect people and really understanding how to connect the dots, not only for yourself, but for other people.
So you guys get out there and talk to each other. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for coming. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Thank you.
Representing here tonight.